Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. It is a good morning today. Yesterday was an afternoon. What's up, everybody? Check out this new hat I got. This is courtesy of the QB herself, Miss Tracy. She got me... I had to decide whether or not I wanted to wear this hat. I'm 48 years old. I've never had an Arsenal Football Club hat. Ever. I've only had shirts. I've only had, like your soccer shirts. I've had some hoodies, some sweatshirts. Never an Arsenal Football Club hat. So thank you, Tracy, for this hat. It is a very prized possession. Well, I'm glad to be with you guys. Tom's in the other room. It is very cold here, and I was streaming for like 10 minutes, and you guys couldn't see it, so that's awesome. But good to see you guys. Welcome. We got good stuff today. Just me and Tom. For those keeping score, he has yet to play pinball, and I don't think he's going to. In fact, at this point, I'd prefer that he not. To keep I'd like the score to stay. It's almost like the non-vomiting streak. I want the streak intact. It is very cold here. It is a brisk and an uncomfortable 44 degrees here. Valorant? What is Valorant? TTV. No, I'm not sure what that is. Duncan is in Beverly Hills, not on fire. Okay, well, if any of you guys are in California, we do get a lot of you guys that pop in here. My heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry. My buddy Dave, I'll have to ask him if I can share it. I do have a video from my friend Dave's house right outside of Studio City, which is where I was going to move. And it's pretty close. It's very close. Scary close. No, TTV, I don't know what that is. Valorant. What is it, a game? Is it yeah, tell me what it is. Later today, for those of you that want to participate, Tom would like to do an old school, old-fashioned radio call-in program. I think that would be a lot of fun too, because, we've been talking to other people in radio, and, the radio's changed. If you listen to real radio in and out throughout the day, the likelihood of you hearing phone calls is probably not very high. But there was a time when you used to take a ton of phone calls. So we're going to do some of that. I've got some stuff to explain to Tom. I want to dip slightly into the fires a little bit, but nothing sad. Although sometimes I think it's not hard. Sometimes I think it's not very hard for normal people to not get upset that Billy Crystal's house burned down. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's very easy. It is unfortunate, but it's very easy because these people, for the most part, unless they're losing their lives, they'll be all right. So I don't really get too bent out of shape about the old my stateside manor burned down. Okay, I'm sorry. That's very unfortunate, but you'll be fine.
You know what's weird?
I think that's how most people are, right?
Is I've been to LA before multiple times.
That's a flex.
And but not enough to really understand the topography and the geography of LA.
Yeah.
But from where
the wind swoops down in those canyons, man, and it.
Yeah, but from what I remember, and even like
you've played Grand Theft Auto. You've driven around there.
Yeah, but what could be fuel for the fire, obviously the trees and everything. I don't remember there being enough forest.
Well, it's just burning everything.
Yeah, but to spread, right. It gets into.
I think the wind takes embers and moves them over. Wind takes embers and moves them over, and it just keeps moving. So it's like if everything's on fire and then you push it straight over to the one or other side, I think it just blow torches through.
It's similar to remember the fires in Hawaii,
and it's dry. So it doesn't really need a lot of fuel, I would imagine, because it's so dry.
Yeah, I guess.
Then you got the mayor. She was in Guyana when all this was happening, and then people are yelling at you, you should have been in L.A., not Guyana.
I so unfamiliar with how fires work because I'm a hurricane man
Call
myself.
Shorty. We should get Shorty on the line.
Well, I just mean like forest
we need
fires.
a good redneck firefighter on here.
Like it's hard for me to envision a fire just moving through a suburb, house
Terrifying.
to house.
Sounds terrifying to me.
Because I've seen the videos of like fires moving through forest, and then there's towns built around forest.
Yeah.
And then you know what I'm saying?
It goes through.
But LA, I don't imagine like there's no forest around LA that but there probably is. I just don't know.
Yeah, well, there's canyon areas that have foliage, and I think that's kind of where it started. But like you've got some fires
kind of like desert.
Yeah, you've got some fires that have burned like 42 acres, and you have some fires that have burned like 10,000, 14,000 acres. It's like, whoa. And there's 5 being fought at the same time. Pardon me.
And that's the thing. Like I imagine LA just being such a dense city that I'm like, where's the forest? Where's 14,000 acres of forest that near LA? I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I think it's not all forest. It's just land.
Yeah,
with stuff on it. All right. Would you like to? I could start. This is for Thursday, correct?
No, Friday.
Friday. Yeah, that's right. We did Thursday.
Yeah.
This is for Friday. All right. Here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. I'm glad you did that, even though I told you I would start, and then I pointed at you like a moron. God almighty. That's how quickly my brain forgets things. Jesus Christ.
That's fine. You point to me, I'll go.
Ever ready. Always at the ready. Hey, you like conspiracy theories, right? Sometimes or no?
I like them when I get a shred of maybe this could be true.
Okay. Oh, you're probably not going to like this one then.
Or if they're creative
this one,
or outlandish.
Okay. This one's interesting just because I know you are. Here's something I do know you're fascinated with. The spread of information, the spread of misinformation.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the algorithm, how it works on TikTok, right? You probably have seen this then. Are you familiar with the color blue theory when it comes to wildfires?
No.
Okay, let me tell you about this. Now, this has really nothing to do. I'm trying to think of things that are adjacent to fire where we don't have to talk about the sadness that is Billy Crystal. And the one that really got me, when you mess with an American treasure like Ricky Lake and you burn her house down, you've made it personal to me. Yeah. Let's go with this color blue theory that started back in 2023. In August of 2023, there were wildfires devastating Maui. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
And so this led to conspiracy theorists suggesting that directed energy weapons, DEWs, were responsible for the fires. We all know that there are certain people in politics that will be like, it was the lasers, and they're on both sides. We got laser people out there. Right. I think they're mad and crazy, but that's fine. We live in a time when you're allowed to shout at the sky. You're allowed. The lasers caused the fires.
So these. What are they called again?
They're called DEWs. They're directed energy weapons.
Okay, directed energy weapons.
Yes.
Is this from a satellite?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay, the old school satellite shoots a laser down.
To Maui, they're like, you know who's causing all the trouble? We got to give them people of Maui. They're the ones. Right?
So a small town in Hawaii.
Yeah,
Now, who would do this?
I don't know. But okay, so proponents of this theory claimed. So just take that out of your mind. Don't worry about the origin story. Just know that some people think that the government or someone or aliens or I don't know,
or a different country
could be
terrorist attack.
Yeah, could be Amazon, could be Bezos, could be Musk. Who knows? Nobody knows. But anyway, so somebody's shooting these DEWs. But the one thing that they figured out through looking at all this different footage from Maui, right, is that the color blue, certain items, images of blue cars, blue umbrellas, blue rooftops, blue trash cans, blue recycle bins, would not burn. Experts have debunked these claims. But these people actually think that these lasers, the way to protect yourself from DEWs is to paint your roof blue, and people are doing it.
Okay, so
people in California are doing it based on the Maui wildfires.
Because after the fires went through Maui,
there was
a bunch of blue.
There's a notorious shot that you can Google. If you just go to Google and type in blue Maui fire blue conspiracy theory, you'll see the photo. It's a photo of a hotel. Everything around the hotel in the area is scorched earth. You can see the beach in the background. What you do see is 3 to 4 blue, like Bacardi umbrellas that you would drink a rum and coke under that are unscorched, right? They're perfect. But the reason that happens, and scientists are saying this, is that when wildfires actually burn, they almost burn in a strange, like almost a kaleidoscope or a mosaic pattern. It's pure randomness. So the fact that those 4 umbrellas that are blue are standing is literally just
a random. The fire went one way, and the other it just didn't burn.
It's a nothing. But what's causing more problems is people are releasing photos of our current wildfires in LA, and what's showing up in the photos? More of these goddamn blue umbrellas and blue trash cans that aren't burning. So people are like, paint your house blue. The people out there freaking out. They're on their roof. They're dumping the blue paint. They're painting themselves blue. The Blue Man Group.
Stop. This is bizarre.
People are nuts. People are insane, dude. The conspiracy theory gained traction on social media, with some individuals even going to their roofs, painting them blue, believing it would protect them from such attacks. However, there is no credible evidence supporting the notion that blue-colored objects are immune to fire or DEWs.
And
it's not a real thing.
That bright blue probably also just sticks out when you burn a landscape and then random, like there's probably a lot of things that didn't burn, but the blue ones
catches your eye.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
And
that's really good.
So, I mean, there's a logical explanation to a lot of conspiracy theories where you go back and you're like, well, this is why. And then people are like, they want to believe the lasers more. That's odd to me than the easy part.
Well, they want to believe the lasers more than just the government / the budget. They didn't have a lot of the training and firefighting tools in place, and we got caught with our pants down and something bad happened. That's not easier to believe? What? That the government messed it up somehow?
Well, it's like magic.
You got me, because you know I love magic.
So
shout out Koshia Kimlot.
And I'm sure if Koshia was here, he'd tell you, because he knows a lot about human psychology and how our brains work.
The human mind.
And how we're really dumb, but we think we're smart.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the worst part. Is
somebody clip that.
We're dumb and we think we're smart.
Yeah.
And then that causes the most problems. Because if we were dumb.
Dunning-Kruger. It's Dunning-Kruger.
If we knew we were dumb, then everything would be a lot easier, because we'd just be like too dumb to understand.
Yeah.
But we're like, I understand. I do it. And I'm like, that's how I know. I'm so dumb. I think I understand hard ass. Of course
you don't
I
need
don't.
To say that.
Anyway. And so in magic, a lot of times people, they get tricked because the magic trick is so easy. Like you have a fake thumb on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I had that as a child.
That your brain wants to believe it's more complicated than it is.
Yeah.
And so you won't a lot of times make the connections to the easy path. Like, oh, he's just wearing a fake thumb and he's stuffing it in, or something. Yeah. Or like he's just moving this card and it's the easiest part,
Yeah. And I think you nailed it. I really think you got it with the, like, if you look at the photo, of course your eyes are drawn to the 4 umbrellas that are blue. It's the only thing of color in the photo. Everything else is either white or scorched earth black.
And then you're like, you're like, why isn't everything burned? There has to be something more complicated.
Right.
It has to be a
laser.
That's
our mind doing like almost like a subconscious. It's like a subconscious knowledge quest.
Yeah,
I don't even think you're actively doing that. Like people that like truly like, I don't think they look at that and be like, Like I think their mind is doing it without them even knowing they're questioning it.
I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson talk the other day about like.
Can we shorten that guy's name?
Yeah, call him Neil.
Yeah, can we just call him NT Neil Tice? Neil Tice.
And he's talking about the it's the God effect of like when you or a higher power or magic of where humans when they can't understand how something works.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, God or magic or what I'm saying, like
I don't do that. I usually go, I don't know that.
Yeah.
And then I move on. Like I don't need an answer.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes me weird.
So when we see something without an explanation, it goes back to we want to create the most complicated explanation. Like,
oh God, like you and I did when we were on the ropes 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
smokes.
you're right.
Yeah, we went to every scenario known to man. We thought the FBI had tapped our lines.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
Even though it's an easy explanation, because if you say like, well, how was the universe created? Oh, it's a higher power. It's God. And then, so that's an easy explanation. But if you dive deeper, an actual God becomes super complicated.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I
don't even want to explore that. It's also a bit terrifying too.
And so it's I think that's where the conspiracy theories is like, how did this person die? And then you start going to the most complicated way, in the most ridiculous way that it could have happened, instead of the easiest way.
Yeah.
Back to magic, I think. I don't know.
No, I agree.
But it's fascinating, though.
It is. And to think that people, it also is a little sad when you think about people that may be of like, I don't know, like limited intelligence, who are up on their roofs painting them blue, really thinking they're doing something good. If you encounter that person, don't stop them. Leave them. They're having a great time protecting their own life with what they believe they're doing. That's why when Andrea eats the sugar beads or whatever those little things she has when she's doing her mumbo jumbo or having a doula, or we got to get the sage out there, I'm like, yeah, do whatever you got to do. Doesn't work for me, but you can do it.
Well, it's kind of like peace of mind. It's like, say you paint your house blue. That does nothing, but there was nothing you could do anyway.
Yeah.
And
so you just had something to do.
Whether it works or doesn't work, it's something and maybe makes you feel better.
Also, here's the one that's
but you painted your whole roof blue, which I'm sure is not.
Yeah, but here's the one that's going to scare people, right? Like I walk over to my friend's house, or let's say you were doing it. You're painting your roof blue, and you're like, "Hey, man, protected from these lasers now. I'm good to go." And I'm like, you painted it the wrong color blue. How do you know what color blue? You see what I'm saying? Like, how do you even know what color blue is the one that filters out the lasers? How would you? There's no, like, you don't even want to ask that question. So you'd be willing just to go to Sherwin-Williams and order blue paint, but you don't even know what variation you need.
Hold on. Google laser blue. Laser protection blue. I bet something somewhere on the internet tells you, and then you'll look at that. What color blue protects you from lasers? Something will be on there. Every question has been answered, even though it's not right.
It says, but since there's no science behind it, it may not give me an answer.
No, someone on Reddit talked about it or something.
Like ChatGPT won't give me an answer. They're like, you're a fool.
Really?
Like that's good, right? That's what we need. Yeah. We need the computer. Like the computer, I asked like what color blue specifically, and it said, "Didn't you just hear me? It doesn't work. There's no specific color blue that works."
So remember, I had this idea about drone firefighters. Do you remember this?
You're making the face like you think I'm going to laugh at you, and I'm not. That's not fair for you to laugh at yourself.
Where I had this idea. I'm like, I wonder if you could. Like, you've seen drone shows, and there are, hundreds upon hundreds of them, right? All working in unison. So we have that technology. Yeah. Sometimes they fall out of the air.
And hurt a child who has to have open heart surgery because the drone hits his chest with so much force.
Well, in this scenario, it would be over woodlands and things that if they fell out of the air, it wouldn't matter. But my idea would be, because how much damage do these fires cause? Billions, right?
Oh, this is the biggest single wildfire in California history, I believe.
So it seems like you could put hundreds of millions into these drone firefighter drones, and they're in buildings strategically placed near fire areas, and then the first sign of fires, these drones just take off, and they'd have to.
I got one. They got them in Asia. If you want to see what one looks like here, there's one.
And then they go by a nearby body of water, fill up, and then just constantly squirt water over and over and over. Hundreds.
From what I'm told, you would need. It's a day late and a dollar short, right, for these guys. But you would need their battery life, and the payloads are too heavy. That's what they're saying.
The water's too,
Yeah, which is weird because we do it with like massive planes and massive helicopters.
But what I'm saying is like
you want like a bunch of little ones.
A bunch of little ones, but also when the fire gets too big, this wouldn't work. But this is like with a start. It would be like the area would be somehow monitored by satellite, and then the first hotspot that came up, let's say acres, not hundreds of acres, but
the drones are deployed.
The drones are deployed and immediately suppressing, because a lot of times human firefighters, the area is so remote that by the time they even get equipment out there to start fighting it, it's already spread.
Ooh.
And with 100-mile-an-hour winds, I don't know nothing about fires. This is probably a stupid idea, and maybe it goes.
Well, it's not stupid, but it's counter. There's a problem with it. Drones push more air down. The chat room's saying the wind would fuel that can sort of. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is you get it while it's small, and then I fire suppressing it with hundreds. I feel like, and maybe they're filled with some sort of fire suppression.
Or a retardant of some sort.
I'm sure this has all been thought of.
No, but I like kicking it around. You know what I mean? But the idea was to not
because it does seem like a problem that will continue to happen over and over, because California's been dealing with fires every year.
And then they're all fighting and politicizing it, and that's just gross. I mean, people are hurt and their houses are burning. It's just set everything aside and just help each other, and Jesus Christ.
Well, how things every year they build more and more, and they probably build into areas that have fire concerns, and they knew about it, right? And then it just takes the one catalyst to start it. It's it's different. We deal with hurricanes all the time, and
there were a lot of little issues here. They rerouted some water to different areas. They didn't have enough water in the fire hydrants, so the fire hydrants ran out of money. They didn't have enough money for the firefighters. They just released 400 incarcerated firefighters to fight the blaze. That's a movie.
That is
That's a movie. Con Air with firefighters. And then you got to have the rapist redeem himself in some weird way. He lifts a car to save a child, and they're like, "You're all right, rapist." And he's like, "Oh,
rapist is too far. Maybe a bank robber."
He saves a child. Rapist. He raped a man. He raped a man. It's fine. He raped a man, and they're like, "Oh, you're the rapist. We hate you the worst." He lifts a car. He's like, and then the little girl gets out, and she's like, "Thank you, rapist." And he's like,
A bunch of incarcerated firefighters fighting
a
fire is a good movie.
What's the name? We got to think of a name. Fireproof. There it is. That one's about porn addiction. That movie's not even about fire. It's about fighting porn and God hating you for having a horrible and vile porn addiction, which you can't even have in the state of Florida anymore. You can't have a porn addiction in the state of Florida. Impossible.
So when you release, or when you let these...
Ooh, Jelly Roll does the song for the firefighter movie. Oh, my God. Jelly Roll does what's the song called? Standing in the fire. I'm standing in the fire with the rapist.
So...
I'm working on the lyrics.
They just found a bunch of prisoners that were firefighters at one time in their lives.
That's what I believe.
It's a weird thing to have on file, right? Do they even have prisoners' prior jobs listed in some database?
I mean, they could have just. Now, here's another movie.
It seems irrelevant.
Here's another movie that's more like Police Academy from the 80s, but what if they had no training? And
you just release the prisoners.
Release them on the streets.
You're just run up the fire.
Put it out with your body.
You release waves.
Well, that would be fine. If we had all these sexual predators running at the fire and throwing their bodies on it, no one would complain about that.
Yeah. Although I don't know if they'd do it, but you'd have armed guards threatening to kill you if you turned around. But that's crazy. They couldn't even find enough. I know people from different states and firefighters are traveling over to California.
Yeah, Porno Joe is.
But he is in a Florida.
I was making him a hero.
Well, he travels to any hurricane places.
He's just handing out water.
Acting
like a hero. Here's your pallet of water, milady. Here you go. That's not nothing.
Well,
I want him in the blaze. He's like, help! I'm pinned down. I'm pinned down. I need a drone.
If you're not trained to fight forest fires,
you'll cry if you.
I don't know if you know. It's a lot of just digging trenches, right? And stuff that, we're thinking that it's fighting it with water, and there's some of that, but most of it is heavy equipment, bulldozers, and trenches.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different way or fighting
I
a fire.
can dig a hole.
I
can dig a hole in front of fire. Is that what you're asking?
You need the prisoners.
Actually, I can't now because of my hips. I have very little strength right now. But yeah, the prisoners, they're good diggers, man.
Anyway.
And it looks like they're going to move. Well, there's no plans yet, but if things continue, it looks like they may move the NFL game, the big Chargers. Who is it? Chargers.
No, well, you're talking about the Rams.
Oh, Rams. Yeah, sorry, not Chargers.
The Rams Minnesota Vikings
Rams Minnesota.
game. So yeah, and this is gonna obviously air tomorrow. So plans may have changed, but
that's a good thing for the Rams because you can always, if your team tanks out, blame it on the move. I love that. Like I love a good you messed up the way it was supposed to be. This is why we lost. This is not ideal. So now you just gave us a free throw.
And this is insensitive, but on
it's defending a monster?
No, gambling. Looking at
the
the gambling ramifications, because when I saw that they may move it.
Well, you're gambling on the sports, not people being burned out of their homes.
I was like,
remember that.
I was like, all right, they're moving into a neutral field. That affects lines.
It does.
And right now the lines pick them in most books. And I was like, is there value on Minnesota if it does get moved? And not because you're now playing a neutral field. Minnesota power rankings wise is like 2 points better than the Rams. So if you move it to a neutral field, you're getting 2 points of value. But the problem is SoFi Stadium, there's such little home field advantage because they're especially the Minnesota fans travel, and so the LA Rams fans are not
they're weak.
Yeah,
they're
weak
fans.
It's not as big of a fan base.
Say it.
Yeah,
Atlanta's got weak fans. We have weak fans. The last
Minnesota's
game,
got crazy.
We were selling Atlanta fans, season ticket holders, were selling their tickets to Carolina fans. You're weak. Don't do that. Yeah. I'd rather burn the ticket than give it to somebody from Carolina.
Well, listen, the Dolphins have weak fans too.
They do.
Dolphins
have weak fans.
And
Orlando used to have weak fans, but we're getting stronger. We're getting Magic. The Magic. We have stronger fans now.
Jacksonville has weak fans. Tampa, I feel like has stronger fans.
Not the strongest.
Stronger fan base than Jacksonville and Miami.
But the ugliest women in Tampa by far.
Miami's got the hottest chicks.
Yeah, Miami's got the hottest chicks. Jacksonville, I'd even give Jacksonville a nod over Tampa. Tampa is holy smokes, there's some carp faces. My God, when I went to that game with Dirty Jim, all we were doing is looking at ugly women.
So, speaking of
might have been men.
The NFL, there's also rumors that Brady is going to be one and done with his broadcasting career.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, he was.
Did you think that at all? I mean, 10-year deal. I thought he was riding it to the moon, man.
Or at least giving it multiple years to get better, because sometimes, there's the Tony Romos who were good right off the bat, but other people take some time because it takes reps. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I thought he would at least give it some time, but it looks like because of his Raiders minority ownership, and people are speculating that he's involved with the new head coach search and the quarterback search, and he's going to take
EJ said Tom Brady is a cardboard man. I agree with that. He comes off just so I know he knows a lot of stuff, and I think he is the best, but man, he comes off not.
Well, he's not a broadcaster. He's never been.
But he's weird. He comes off weird.
But there's nothing I've watched games that Tom Brady was a commentator on, and it dawned on me halfway through that it was Tom Brady.
Right, you can't tell. Yes.
But
that's a problem.
Yes.
If he doesn't have a signature sound, and if you don't know,
or bringing anything to the table,
you don't want to blend in. He was blending in.
Yes.
You're right, dude. You're exactly right. You would hear it, and you'd be like,
it wouldn't even matter.
Andrew would be like, "Is that Brady?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I think that is him." You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you need to be, because when Romo,
that's interesting.
When Romo commentates, you know it's Romo, right? Yeah. Immediately.
Or he kind of has the same thing that John Madden had, where you have pow, you
need a big personality. Yeah. You need a signature sound.
Yeah.
You need certain introspective that other commentators not going to bring.
But he has that because nobody's done it better than him. He's the dude.
But he's not showing it off, and he's not using it
off.
in entertainment. Yeah, it's kind of lots of analysts played football. I mean, never to the point of Tom Brady, but so it's you need to, Romo, what everybody loved about what Romo was doing, he was predicting plays and things like that, and like he
showed you how it worked,
and he would put himself out there. And Brady is too meticulous, I think, to ever be wrong.
You can say too good. I think he's too good at football to go in there and
he's not going to make a mistake.
He's not going to have fun with it.
Yes,
it's not fun. Well, it is fun for him, but it's only fun for him when he's doing it perfectly.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people criticize him, and they still are, about how not good he is.
I thought he was bad.
And he may take the John Elway Denver approach.
I think he should, because he's better at it. Like, it'd be like me. Like, there's a ton of things that I would like to do, right? Like, I'm teaching myself how to Travis pick a guitar, right? But it's not what I'm best at. It's not, like I have small hands. Like, I'm a drummer. I went to school for that. I didn't go to school for guitar.
Yeah.
So it'd be like me choosing, like, oh, Dan just signed a 10-year deal to play guitar. I mean, I could do it. It's going to take a ton of work, though.
Yes, yeah.
Would I be able to do it? I'm confident I would, because I'm a musician. Would it be as good as me doing this? No, it would not.
Yeah, he'd obviously be better as a decision maker for the Raiders than a broadcaster, but there's no evidence that he would be good at picking coaches or picking quarterbacks either, because he's never done that.
Yeah, that's true.
So he may be the greatest quarterback of all time and be bad at picking other quarterbacks for a team that he partially owns.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
And some of that I truly believe is a lot of luck. Like, I don't think that a lot of these teams that drafted a QB and it didn't end up working out were necessarily bad or did anything different than any other team.
Yeah.
I just sometimes think that it's just luck of the draw that this quarterback didn't work out.
I'm beginning to believe a lot of luck. Like across the board.
It's like poker.
Like
There's
in life.
skill and luck, and obviously if you have more skill, you'll be better off in the long run, but there's you could have all the skill in the world and have bad luck.
Yeah.
And like you can pick the best quarterback in the draft and everybody can universally decide that they're the best. And that's just funny. Like even last year with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, right? Now, in retrospect, people are like, oh, well, Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback.
I mean, like head and shoulders, not even close.
Yeah. Nobody was saying that in the draft. Everybody universally agreed Caleb Williams was better.
Yeah.
The analysts, the professionals.
Daniels is too small.
Yeah, but so it's funny because everybody's like, oh, they made a huge mistake. How could they be this stupid? And it's like, no, everybody agreed, even them and everybody else, that this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, but sports pundits love to say,
of course,
like, look at you idiots.
Or retrospect, right? The hindsight, 2020.
Let me walk you through one more thing because we got a little bit of time left, I think. Yeah, we got enough time for this. So, let me ask you a question. What cartoons are your boys? Do they watch cartoons at all?
Yeah, it's all anime.
Okay, so
it's weird too because
so
I'm like,
also,
why do you like it so much?
You're gonna have to slide this in there because this is anime, and I think I might be able to figure out how to fast track the grit into your boys. I know this is something you've talked about before.
Okay.
I started for whatever reason. I was laying in bed. Maybe I'd fallen on a fish whistle. You never know. And I thought to myself, do they have cartoons in North Korea? Of course they do, because they have children. Of course, like, Dan, you're an idiot. Of course they have cartoons in North Korea.
Okay, yeah.
You're so stupid. Like, why wouldn't they have cartoons in North
But I
Korea?
understand you asking that question because there's a lot of weird things that happen in North Korea.
Correct. We don't know a lot about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, it's a very mysterious place. Some would say that even me, I don't like when people withhold things from me. I'm very fascinated with North Korea.
Yeah, they've basically shut themselves off from the rest of the world. They're not connected to the same internet.
Yeah.
They are their own entity.
They're their own entity. So allow me to show you the new show that has been on television in North Korea since 1977 that you will now start showing your sons. I'm going to put it on the screen for everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the North Korea cartoon, hyper-violent North Korea children's cartoon, Squirrel and Hedgehog. Have you ever? You've never heard this?
No.
Me and Maisie started watching this. This is how I make Maisie tough. This is nothing more than a giant geopolitical propaganda cartoon for children from North Korea.
Okay.
And we're going to play a little bit of it here. The Lesson for Squirrel. This is episode 1 of Squirrel and Hedgehog, The Lesson for Squirrel. They live in a place called Flower Hill.
Okay.
This is all in Korean, so it's subtitled. There is some dubs on here that you can like get a hold of.
Okay.
This is an establishing shot here of the. Okay, here they go. Okay, there's Squirrel and his squirrel buddies.
Oh, the art is very old school, like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it's very much Winnie the Pooh. Now here, let me give you a few little tidbits here of what happened with this particular game or this particular show. Like there are different characters in here that you have to look out for. Like one of them being they do a lot of in this particular show they do a lot of like imagery, meaning squirrel and hedgehog are both representative of North Korea. Okay. So that's what they are. And then you've got other characters that come in here. Like one of them in this particular episode, they're in their village, they're working, and they get attacked by the weasels. The weasels are Japan.
No, okay, so they represent different
but
countries?
They've never said this. The particular studio that has done this has never, ever come out and said, like, oh, that's what this is. Okay, here are the different characters.
So these are just people speculating this is what it means?
Dude, it is what it means. It 100% is what it means. The studio's just never going to come out and say it because it's, like, so weird. But it was created by SEK Studios.
Well, they're run by the government, or at least controlled by it. There's no free speech.
No. But basically, so you have the different characters. You have the golden squirrels. You have the hedgehogs. That's North Korea, right? You have the weasels. That's Japan. The weasels are cunning, manipulative, ruthless enemies who constantly scheme to conquer Flower Hill. They symbolize imperialistic Japan and its historical aggression towards Korea. So you got that. Then you got the wolves. Now, I'm on episode 3, and the wolves are just starting to appear. That's us. That's the United States.
Okay, we're the wolves?
Yeah, we are portrayed as brute force attackers, often using overwhelming strength and intimidation. We represent the United States. Then you got the mice. They're South Korea. They're the worst. The North Koreans, they're whacking them with sticks, poking them in the ass. They do in this, and it's a hyper-violent cartoon. Like when the weasels shoot one of the squirrels, their blood they're dead as dead. They are dead, chopping their heads off.
Yeah.
In one of them, they capture one of the South Korean mice, and they're poking his ass, and then the weasel goes, kill him, and you hear him stomp him dead. It's off the chart, dude. This is better. This is better than this is better than Landman. This is better than Landman.
You gotta toughen up your future soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. You get your kids watching this, you're gonna have some tough asses in there. Then you got the ducks. Now the ducks were seen as like sort of a hybrid of they were like kind of like China. Or like think like half Russia, half China. But the ducks, more like China is kind of what I'm getting at. Peking duck, if you think about that. There's like some racism there. But the ducks are unreliable, completely unreliable ally. They sometimes they
are an ally. Sometimes
an unreliable ally.
Okay, all right.
Stupid China, you're so unreliable. Then you got the bear. The bear lives in Flower Hill. In the first episode, you're kind of introduced to the bear. Now you can guess that one.
This is Russia.
That's Russia.
Okay,
yeah. Me bear, me bear. And he says that. He's like, he's always getting drunk. It's all stereotypes. He's always drinking, drunk. They poison him in one of the episodes because he can't stop drinking so much. They put poison in his brew, and he's like, I'm an alcoholic. I have to drink. And he drinks, and he's almost dead. It's a great cartoon, man. It's fantastic. It's Squirrel and Hedgehog, North Korean cartoon, and it is. And then this is actually why I brought it up. You mentioned that your sons only watch anime. In a lot of circles, because SEK Studio, they're not really known for, they do this type of cartoon for North Korea, but they've also done some legitimate stuff. Like they've done some games, they've done some legitimate Russian cartoons, they've done some legitimate U.S. cartoons. In fact, I think SEK worked on the Simpsons movie.
Really?
Yeah, so if you really trace it back, some of these studios, they're not really linked to like the government so much as they are a tool within that particular country, but I don't know. It's very, very weird. But if you want something interesting to watch that's completely bonkers and is total propaganda, you can find all the episodes on YouTube, and this show, to make it even crazier, has started in 1977, and I think it just stopped last year. I think was the last time you got some Squirrel and Hedgehog. Why did it stop, you ask? Kim Jong-un, who is Kim Jong-il's, Kim Jong-un, Un before Il, except after C. I can't remember how it goes. But the dad, he loved animation. He wanted to kind of be like, probably inspired by like Disney or stuff, you know? I mean, like he wanted to kind of be that guy. So they would release, SEK Studios would release like 3 to 4 different shows per year for the dad. Now, when he passed away and his son took over, not so much interested in the cartoons as much. So it's kind of whittled down to like one release a year. There is one show that is started in 77, is still going on. I think it's called The Boy King. And it was the father's favorite show. And maybe just out of historical significance, they continue to animate it. But it's still going on. It's been going on since 77.
I know this is probably available on the internet somewhere, but I wonder what North Korean TV is like. How many channels?
I'm glad you said that. It's how I got here. I was watching Linus, the Linus Tech. He's a very famous YouTuber, and he had a North Korean Wii. And in watching him review a North Korean Wii gaming console is how I kind of got to Squirrel and Hedgehog. That's how I found it.
Okay.
Because people in the chat room are asking, like, how the hell did you get here? I don't know. Wormhole, the internet.
So North Korean TV, they obviously show...
Oh, somebody in the chat room said, is this going to be like Happy Tree Friends? Sort of. In fact, I would be willing to bet that Happy Tree Friends was inspired by this particular propaganda piece.
What's Happy Tree Friends?
It was like a Flash, I think it was like a Flash cartoon that came out years ago. They were like little animated shorts of little cute, like almost Care Bear animals, but hyper violent. You know, that fish out of water, like, hey, the Care Bears are blowing each other's heads off. You know, like, I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me, but yeah, it's sort of a thing. But yeah, you can watch all of these episodes on YouTube. And it's funny because there are like you can see different real geopolitical things happen in there. Like supposedly as time marches on, you can see when like maybe China and North Korea were not getting along as well through the cartoon. Like maybe the ducks were acting really crazy, and it was their way of kind of spouting off. Like the bear, Russia, he tends to be like more of a father figure to them, right, of communism.
Yeah.
He's always propping them up, protecting the village. He's always down for it. Like the South Koreans, the mice are very subservient, and they just do whatever the wolves tell them to do, right? The South Korea, controlled by America. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting watch.
I do like real propaganda made specifically for that purpose, because we hear the word propaganda a lot and we're like, this means this, or this is trying to trick people or into this, and you know, a lot of it is you're far-fetched, but this is like, North Korea releases real propaganda specifically to put out this message to their people and brainwash them in whatever decision they want, or whatever way they want them to think. This is for that. Which is like,
and
for sure.
To get back to what I was going to say to you too, I'm sorry I forgot my point. SEK Studio does a lot of anime, tons of it.
Yeah.
This is actually classified, to go with like what your sons are into, as this is classified as anime, and in some circles, it's heralded as one of the greatest series because of how long it's been on. The characters are good. Because I'm not saying it's bad. It is in no way bad. It's actually a decent watch and extremely impressive for the time. It's just propaganda and hyper-violent.
Well, it's funny that it looks like Winnie the Pooh and it's hyper-violent.
Yeah, like some of them, if you were to watch it, some of them get a little crazy here. Let's see if we can take this. Hey, thanks for calling A Mediocre Time. Who's this?
It's a corporate time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Not that that's going to matter. They're going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I was calling a corporate time.
No. So let's do one voicemail.
All right. One lonely voicemail. If you'd like to leave a voicemail, 1-844-TOMNDAN is the number to call. Yes, sir.
Back to real quick, the North Korean TV. What's available.
Not a lot.
Do they? I'm sure they have like in-country sports, right?
There's I'm sure
some popular, like I'm sure like cricket or something is popular there, or whatever sports popular. So there's televised that. Then there's like the government news, the news the government wants you to know or believe, and then so there's those two things.
Yeah.
But what are there any sort of other sitcoms or like just funny comedies?
They don't even have streetlights, dude.
Because
there's not like really any cars. You know, it's like it's not. No, I don't think they do.
Well, there's some misconceptions. Like sometimes we think it's more weird than it is. Like I think there's a lot of normalcy.
I think it's probably just boring.
Yeah.
Because like on that particular show I was watching where they were reviewing the North Korean Wii clone, the video gaming console, like all of the games were sort of sad. Like, for instance, like the Wii remote would only let you hit straight. So like when you're playing, like you were guaranteed to win. You see what I'm saying? Like it's almost like dystopian in a weird way. It's giving you joy, but it's not giving you a way to fail in your joy. It's just it's just gifting you a it's I don't know.
Very medical.
Yeah.
Everything is like a institutionalized.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. Let's do this one right here.
Hey, Tom and Dan. I was listening to the OG show, and you were talking about the rent a Santa Claus, pretty much, that Tracy, I believe it was, got for like $50 one night. And that reminded me of a time when I was a kid, and I actually found out that Santa was not real. My grandmother knew this guy. He was like a warlock or an outlaw, one of those biker gangs or whatever, and I've never...
When you say that, like, sometimes I think, oh, this guy was like a wizard or some sort. Oh, no, he's just a redneck in a leather jacket.
Him before, but she knew him really well, and he would dress up as Santa whenever he wasn't on his bike or whatever, and he would go around to, I don't know, whatever these places are that, handle with kids and stuff, and he came to the house. We were all excited. Santa was coming, and he was late. And I remember we were all sitting around waiting. And then the next thing I know, he comes in, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, kids, Santa wrecked his sleigh." And I ran out and looked because I wanted to see, the wrecked sleigh. I'm like a 10-year-old trash kid from Sorrento. I go out there to look, and his sleigh was like an 83, 84 F-150. It was all beat the hell up, dragging a fence post and some fencing underneath it. And so they rushed him out of there, and then the next day he shows back up, not in Santa attire, but wearing a ripped up tie-dye shirt, and tried to sell my grandmother some very strange shrimp for a crack money. And that's how I realized that Santa was not real, and my whole belief system was a sham.
The old very strange shrimp. Got him again.
It's weird. I thought, and maybe this was different in this guy's
some really strange shrimp
generation. I can't remember what I was told, but nowadays it seems like the overwhelming consensus with parents is the Santas at the mall and the ones you see coming to events or whatever are like the kids know that those are actors playing Santa and not the real Santa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how I grew up.
And yeah. I thought so. Me too. I think my mom was like
Santa's helpers.
The mall Santa.
Santa helper.
It's like that wasn't ever the real Santa.
That's a helper. Yeah.
So no matter like it was well known. Maybe to not like a 2-year-old.
How do other people do it? Do they say that's the when you go to the Seminole Town Center, like that's the real Santa? I mean, why?
Well, this guy, even 10 years old is old, sir. But
you were weak.
He thought that these Santas that actually came, like this biker, was the real Santa.
Well, then you're not that bright because they're all over the place. So what? There can't be more than one Highlander.
Well, I mean, the whole concept.
It was the first question the kids asked. I asked my mom that. The first question, I'm like, why are there so many Santas? Because those are Santa's helpers. They're not the real Santa.
Yeah.
But they help the spirit of Christmas. They help,
Yeah, so even if you went. Now, but maybe old school. Like, remember in, like, it's not A Christmas Story. Is it A Christmas Story? The one where
he pushes him down the slide?
Yeah, that's
it.
But, like, I remember the trope being that if you saw Santa's beard at the mall and then, like, you pulled on it and it was fake, that's why people then were like, oh, my God. And then they were devastated that wasn't the real Santa. So at one point in time, I believe... That was being sold as a real Santa.
But what you're saying is what caused what my mom did.
Yes.
Like what you're saying is the cause. The effect is my mom saying, those are, blanket it. Yeah. Let's get ahead of it. These are not real Santas. We should have probably prefaced this in case people are driving around. These are not real Santas. The real Santa comes on Christmas.
Yeah, and
these are helpers that scatter the gift, the spirit.
Yeah,
of Christmas.
everybody knows that. My kids know that. It's like the real Santa's
right.
magic. You never can see him.
Who made you feel not confident about this? You're right on this.
Okay, well, this gentleman saying that's what made him not believe, and I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous.
That's a rough childhood, though.
yeah.
That's on your parents.
This
I feel
biker.
Like.
Anyway,
we got to get out of here.
All right, we will see you on Monday.
Awesome. It worked. I couldn't find my notes for a second of all the characters, and I was like, shit. I was like going through there. That's why I print shit out. Because it's a lot easier to grab your paper, you know. Old man. All right, that's Friday 1 and 2. Are we going to do any more before lunch?
No, I think we'll just take lunch, and then we'll come back, and we'll do the call-in show.
All right, guys, at 1, we are doing a call-in show. We would love for you to call in. And
even if you have nothing to talk about, and usually I yell at people that call in and have nothing to talk about, this time I'm fine with it because we're just going to shoot the shit with people.
Shooting the shit.
And just see what anybody's up to.